For years, Roloff Farms has been seen as more than just land. It's been the heart of a family story that millions have followed, trusted, and emotionally invested in. From joyful family moments to difficult decisions, viewers have watched everything unfold. It's felt real, honest, even comforting at times. But now, that image is starting to crack. Because recently, a wave of shocking claims and rumors has taken over social media. Words like raid, investigation, and hidden secrets are being thrown around, and fans don't know what to believe anymore. At the center of it all, a mysterious $50,000 ring that's raising eyebrows. Questions about finances that don't seem to have clear answers. And growing speculation that things between Matt and Caryn may not be as solid as they appear on the surface. So what's actually going on here? Is this just another case of rumors spiraling out of control? Or are these pieces part of a much bigger story that hasn't fully come to light yet? In this video, we're breaking everything down step by step, looking at the claims, the reactions, and the deeper questions that are leaving fans unsettled. Because once you start connecting the dots, this story becomes a lot more complicated than anyone expected. Continuing from that point, the situation becomes even more complex the deeper you look into it. Because while these rumors may sound dramatic at first, they didn't just appear out of nowhere. Online discussions have been building for weeks, with fans pointing to small details, unusual timing, and subtle changes in behavior that they believe could hint at something bigger happening behind the scenes. Some viewers have claimed that activity around the farm has seemed different lately. Others have focused on social media posts, or the lack of them, questioning whether silence itself could be telling its own story. And in today's digital world, it doesn't take much for speculation to grow into something much larger. Then there's the detail that's captured the most attention, the alleged $50,000 ring. Now, on its own, a ring like that might not raise too many questions. After all, high-value jewelry isn't unheard of, especially for public figures. But in this context, it's the mystery surrounding it that has people talking. Where did it come from? What does it represent? And why has it suddenly become part of this unfolding conversation? For some fans, the ring is being interpreted as a symbol, possibly tied to deeper personal or financial decisions. For others, it's simply another rumor that may have been exaggerated over time. But either way, it has added a new layer of intrigue to an already complicated story. At the same time, attention has shifted toward Matt and Caryn's relationship. Over the years, their dynamic has been closely followed by fans, with many celebrating their journey while others have remained more skeptical. Recently, however, some viewers believe they've noticed subtle signs of tension, moments that, when looked at individually, may not seem significant, but together start to raise questions. Of course, it's important to remember that public perception doesn't always reflect reality. Relationships go through ups and downs, and what fans see online or on screen is only a small part of the full picture. Still, when combined with the other rumors circulating, it's easy to see why people are beginning to connect the dots, even if those connections aren't confirmed. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. Is there any truth behind these claims? As of now, there has been no official confirmation of a federal raid or investigation connected to the farm. Much of what's being discussed comes from online speculation, second-hand reports, and interpretations of limited information. That doesn't necessarily mean something is happening, but it also doesn't fully explain why these conversations have gained so much traction. Because when a story involves a well-known family, a valuable property, and unexpected rumors, attention is almost inevitable. What makes this situation particularly interesting is how quickly it has evolved. What may have started as a small piece of gossip has now turned into a full-blown discussion, with fans analyzing every detail and trying to separate fact from fiction. And as we move forward, the focus shifts from what's being said to what could happen next. Could this all fade away as just another wave of internet speculation? Or could there be developments that bring clarity, and possibly even more surprises. That's exactly what we're going to explore next. As these rumors began spreading, the situation quickly escalated beyond a simple piece of gossip. Social media platforms became flooded with posts, comments, and theories, each one adding a new layer to the story. Some users claimed to have inside information, while others pointed to vague clues, trying to connect dots that may or may not even exist. What made this particularly intense was the lack of clear answers. There were no official statements, no confirmed reports, no verified sources stepping forward to explain what was actually happening. And in that silence, speculation grew even louder. For longtime viewers, this kind of uncertainty felt unsettling. Roloff Farms has always been presented as a place of warmth, family values, and tradition. It's where viewers have watched milestones unfold, birthdays, celebrations, and deeply personal family moments. So when rumors of something as serious as a federal raid begin circulating, it creates a sharp contrast to the image people are used to seeing. Some fans started revisiting past episodes and public appearances, wondering if they had missed any warning signs. Were there subtle hints that something wasn't quite right? Or was this simply a case of the internet turning a small idea into something much bigger? At the same time, others urged caution. They pointed out how easily misinformation can spread, especially when there's no concrete evidence to support such claims. In today's digital world, a single post can quickly snowball into a widely believed narrative, even if it started with nothing more than speculation. But even with skepticism in the mix, the damage, or at least the impact, was already done. Because once a rumor like this takes hold, it's difficult to ignore. It changes the conversation. It shifts the focus from what people know to what they fear might be true. And perhaps most importantly, it raises a deeper question. If there was something happening behind the scenes, why hasn't there been any clear clarification? That lingering question is what continues to fuel the discussion. And just as fans were trying to process these shocking claims, another detail began to surface, one that added even more intrigue to the situation. A mysterious, high-value item. A $50,000 ring. And suddenly, the story didn't just feel like a rumor anymore. It started to feel like a puzzle. Which brings us to the next part of this unfolding situation. Now let's take a closer look at the detail that has sparked even more curiosity among fans, the so-called $50,000 ring. At first, this wasn't something officially announced or confirmed. Instead, it appears to have emerged from online discussions, fan observations, and bits of speculation that slowly started to gain traction. Viewers who closely follow Little People, Big World began noticing subtle hints, mentions of an expensive piece of jewelry reportedly connected to Caryn Chandler. And once that number, $50,000, entered the conversation, it immediately grabbed attention. Because let's be honest, that's not just any ring. That's the kind of price tag that suggests something meaningful, something intentional, something that goes beyond a casual purchase. Naturally, fans began asking questions. Was this an engagement ring from Matt Roloff? Was it a gift marking a major milestone in their relationship? Or could it be tied to something else entirely, something financial, symbolic, or even strategic? The possibilities quickly became part of a much bigger conversation. Some fans believed the ring could represent a deeper level of commitment between Matt and Caryn. After all, their relationship has been a central storyline for years, and viewers have watched it evolve through ups and downs. A ring of that value could easily be interpreted as a sign that things are moving forward in a serious way. But not everyone is convinced. There's another side to the discussion, one that questions whether the $50,000 figure is even accurate. In the world of online speculation, numbers can easily be exaggerated, misunderstood, or taken out of context. What starts as a rough estimate can quickly turn into a fact repeated across social media. And that raises an important point. Is the ring really worth $50,000, or has that number taken on a life of its own? But beyond the price, What truly caught people's attention was the timing of these rumors. Because right when this ring started becoming a topic of conversation, there were also increasing discussions about possible tension in Matt and Caryn's relationship. Fans began connecting the dots. They started wondering if the ring was meant to reassure or distract. Was it a symbol of stability during a complicated time? Or could it actually be highlighting underlying issues that haven't been fully addressed? In reality, without confirmation, all of this remains speculation. But that hasn't stopped viewers from forming their own interpretations. Some see the ring as a romantic gesture, something positive, even hopeful. Others see it as a clue, part of a bigger, more complicated story unfolding behind the scenes. And that's what makes this detail so intriguing. Because it's not just about a piece of jewelry. It's about what that jewelry might represent. Commitment, pressure, financial decisions, or even public perception. As fans continue to follow the story, one question keeps coming back. Is the $50,000 ring a symbol of love and stability? Or is it a sign that something more complicated is happening beneath the surface? As speculation continued to build, attention naturally shifted toward the relationship between Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler, a relationship that fans of Little People, Big World have followed closely for years. What's interesting is how quickly public perception can evolve. Moments that once seemed normal, casual interactions, social media posts, or even brief appearances, are now being re-examined under a completely different lens. Fans have started going back, revisiting past interviews, old episodes, and recent updates, trying to piece together whether anything feels different. Some viewers believe there may be underlying tension that hasn't been openly addressed. They point to subtle shifts, body language, tone, or even the absence of shared moments online, as possible signs that things aren't as smooth as they once appeared. In today's digital world, even what isn't posted can spark just as much curiosity as what is. Others, however, take a more grounded perspective. They argue that being in the public eye, especially after years on television, naturally brings pressure. Constant scrutiny, ongoing rumors, and the expectation to always appear perfect can weigh heavily on any relationship. From this point of view, what fans are seeing might not be tension at all, but simply the normal ups and downs of life being magnified by attention. There's also a third group of fans who believe this entire narrative may be the result of overanalysis. In their eyes, the connection between Matt and Caryn hasn't fundamentally changed. It's the interpretation that has. When speculation begins to trend, every detail, no matter how small, can suddenly feel like a clue in a much bigger story. And that's really where things become complicated. Because once a narrative starts forming online, it tends to feed itself. A single rumor leads to discussions, discussions lead to theories, and theories begin to shape perception. Before long, even ordinary moments, like a quiet appearance together or a delayed post, can be seen as something meaningful. For Matt and Caryn, this creates a situation where their relationship isn't just their own anymore. It becomes something constantly interpreted, discussed, and sometimes misunderstood by a wide audience. At the center of it all is a simple question that no one outside their inner circle can truly answer. Is there real tension, or is this just the power of speculation at work? Right now, there's no clear confirmation pointing in either direction. But what is clear is that the conversation itself has taken on a life of its own. And as long as curiosity continues to grow, every moment, big or small, will likely keep fueling the discussion. All of this brings us to one of the most important and emotional questions in this entire situation. What does this mean for Roloff Farms and the legacy that has been built over decades? For longtime viewers of Little People, Big World, the farm has never just been a backdrop. It represents years of hard work, family milestones, and a dream that started with Matt Roloff and Amy Roloff. Every pumpkin season, every family gathering, every major life decision seemed to tie back to that land. It became symbolic, not just of success, but of unity, tradition, and identity. But now, with rumors continuing to circulate, that image feels like it's shifting. When speculation starts to overshadow history, it changes how people see everything. Fans who once viewed the farm as a place of joy and connection are now questioning what might be happening behind the scenes. Even without confirmation, the constant discussions about finances, relationships, or possible conflicts can slowly reshape public perception. And perception matters. Because for a place like Roloff Farms, its value isn't just measured in land or money, it's measured in what it represents to millions of viewers. If that emotional connection begins to weaken, the impact could go far beyond headlines. It could influence how future projects are received, how the family shares their story, and even how the farm itself fits into the next chapter of their lives. There's also the question of the family dynamic. Over the years, fans have already seen disagreements about the future of the farm, especially when it came to ownership and long-term plans. If new rumors continue to build, they could add pressure to relationships that have already faced difficult moments. And when public attention intensifies, even small issues can feel much bigger than they actually are. For Caryn Chandler and Matt, the situation becomes even more delicate. Any speculation tied to their relationship doesn't just stay personal. It connects back to the farm, the business, and the broader family narrative. That makes every rumor feel like it carries more weight, whether it's accurate or not. At the same time, there's the possibility that none of these rumors reflect reality at all. But in today's world, where online discussions move fast and assumptions spread even faster, the damage, or at least the impact, can happen before the truth ever fully comes out. And for a legacy like Roloff Farms, that creates a sense of uncertainty that's hard to ignore. Because when attention shifts from celebration to suspicion, the story changes. Instead of focusing on growth, memories, and tradition, the conversation becomes centered on questions, doubts, and what-ifs. And once that shift happens, it can be difficult to bring things back to what they once were. Right now, the future of Roloff Farms feels like it's standing at a crossroads. On one side is everything fans have loved for years, the legacy, the history, and the emotional connection built through little people, big world. On the other side is a wave of uncertainty fueled by speculation and unanswered questions. Which direction it goes may depend not just on what's actually happening behind the scenes, but on how the story continues to unfold in the public eye. At the end of the day, what we're really looking at here is a mix of speculation, curiosity, and a lot of unanswered questions. The rumors surrounding a possible federal raid, the mystery of the alleged $50,000 ring, and the growing conversations about tension within the family. These are all pieces of a story that, so far, hasn't been fully confirmed. And that's exactly what makes it so intriguing. Because in today's world, it doesn't take long for a single idea or theory to spread. One post turns into a discussion, that discussion turns into assumptions, and before you know it, a full narrative begins to take shape, whether it's true or not. So the real question remains, are these claims grounded in reality, or are they simply the result of fans connecting dots that may not actually be there? Right now, there's no official confirmation to support the more dramatic parts of these rumors. But at the same time, the fact that so many people are talking about it shows just how deeply invested fans have become in this story. For years, viewers have followed every high and low, every success and struggle. So when something unusual surfaces, something that feels out of the ordinary, it's only natural for people to start asking questions. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway here. This isn't just about rumors or speculation. It's about connection. It's about a fan base that has spent years watching a family grow, evolve, and face real-life challenges. And because of that, people care. They want clarity. They want honesty. And most importantly, they want the truth. But until more concrete information comes to light, everything we've discussed today remains just that, a developing story. Something that could turn out to be far less dramatic than it seems, or something that could reveal deeper truths over time. Only time will tell. So for now, all we can do is watch, wait, and stay informed. If any real updates emerge, you can be sure this conversation will continue, and we'll be here to break it all down with you. With that said, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.